Hey, thank you, Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, thank you, Bruce Springsteen. Here we are, Manic Monday, but I got another name for it today. That's right, because this is show number 420. Hello out there in Videoland. Hello out in Radioland. This is number 420. So I've changed the name from Manic Monday to Mota Monday. Mota, Mota Monday. And if you've ever been to Mexico, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Check it out. 420 Mota Monday. It makes sense. It makes sense. That's all I can say. It makes sense. Okay, so here we are. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio on this beautiful, beautiful November the 18th day. Can you imagine? November the 18th is 55 degrees out, sun shining. What a gorgeous day. What a gorgeous day today. And I see a cat walking across the meteor crater. He's not afraid of aliens. No, well, cats aren't afraid of much. I'll tell you, they're whacked. Okay, so what's going to go on today? Well, we got lots to talk about. It was a big weekend. Lots going on. Lots I want to talk about. And before we get into that, though, let's talk about our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Now, we got this nice weather here, and everything's in the back of people's minds as far as snow and Christmas and that kind of thing goes because it's so nice out, really. You know, we're used to, maybe some inclement weather, a little bit of snow or something like that, which may be moving in later on in the week, according to everything I've seen. But, we usually don't get it down in the South Towns around Buffalo. The Bills Mafia are going to get it, but we're probably not. But you want to get your car in now. Look at the nice day. Take your car into Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Ken Hunter, proprietor, and get your end of the summer, start of the winter. I'm calling it now because we're so far into the fall. Car checkup. And, if you take it to Ken, he's going to look at your brakes, your suspension, your tires. He's going to do a computer scan on your car, fluids, lighting. He's going to take your vehicle for a spin to make sure that everything's working perfectly. And if there's any problem, he's going to make sure he fixes it for you, and out the door you go. You're good for the winter. You don't have to worry about your car. Nice and safe. Everything running right. That's what you want. You don't want to be reactive. You don't want to react to a situation. You want to proact before that situation arises. And that's how you do it. You take it to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive, right by the Kia dealership. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. They'll take care of you, and it'll make me happy. It'll make them happy, and it's a good thing that we support the sponsors because at the end of the day, they pay the way here. So, yes, support our sponsors, please. And thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, when you see the video on YouTube, subscribe. Smash the subscribe button. Subscribe to it. Get the notifications and leave comments. If you like what I say, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you don't, give me a thumbs down, leave a comment. And then we can discuss it on shows. Like, if you leave comments today, I'm going to ask a couple questions for the audience. And if you have something to say about it, leave the comment and I'll discuss it tomorrow. I see comments on Facebook. I'll be talking about that a little bit today on one of my subjects for sure. And it's well, I don't know if it's controversial, but it definitely does have opinions. And we'll see what side of the aisle you're on when it comes to this subject. Now, Mota Monday here. And basically, I always forget this. I want to give a big hello out to my friends in Chippewa. Chippewa, over the bridge. I never talk about Chippewa. I always send notices out that my show's on. But I never say hello to anybody. Hello, Chippewa. Good morning. Good afternoon. Yeah. We love Chippewa. And we want to acknowledge them, and Willoughby and Crowland and all those outlying areas of Niagara Falls. So I'm starting to go through the budget. The mayor's budget has been handed down, and it's in NiagaraFalls.ca. If you go to mayor's budget, you'll find it. So I'm starting to go through that, and I'll have some more reporting on it during the week here. I'll be talking about different items in there. And today is the day they have their in-camera. They called it a learning session, an education session, which don't hurt the counselors because sometimes you wonder. But that's good. So they're going to sit down and talk about the budget. Of course, they'll be given the riot act. They'll be read the riot act about it and why they have to do it and blah blah blah. People ask you this and people ask you that. When you go to vote for it, they give you all the baloney about it, right? Like, just listen to me. I'll give you the truth. They give you the baloney. I'll give you the truth about it. Yeah, that's why you watch the show. You want to know what's going on, and you want the real deal. Listen to what I have to say. Believe me. A lot of times people say, he's wacky, the guy. He's wacky. $80 million floating around. But I haven't had one person say it isn't. There isn't $80 million floating around. I mean, I haven't had anybody say that yet. I've been saying that for what, 5 months, 4 months now? So if nobody's telling me I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I know there's a lot of money floating around. If you don't believe it, when I looked just at one line from the budget this year, there's a thing in there, and it said that they spent $10 million over what they approved for 2024. So in 2024, they spent $10 million more. You don't think there's money floating around? Where'd they get the $10 million? Because they raised their taxes 5%. So, yeah, money floating around. So I'll start to go through that and look at it and report back to you guys before the 26th. November 26th, I think it's 2 p.m. They go into the budget meeting. So November 25th, I'll be online here. I'll be doing the show on Manic Monday, and we'll talk a lot about the budget on that show. I promised you I wouldn't. I said I wasn't going to get into this stuff anymore and that, but you know what? It's in my nature. I can't help myself. I got to report. I got to report to you guys and let you know what's going on with the budget. And I have a lot of input. Don't think it's just me. I have John Ringo Beam messaging me every day about things. He sends me stuff every day about this guy knows a lot about the city, John Ringo Beam, and he sends me stuff, and I always challenge him about it because sometimes I just don't think it's there's other stuff going on, but John knows his stuff pretty good, and when I challenge him, he's got an answer. I'll tell you that right now. So when he says something, it's usually right on the money. He sent me a picture today of and this is disgusting, to be honest with you, and I can't understand why somebody didn't stop. I don't know who took this picture. And whoever took it, if they didn't stop and mention it to the person, they're doing that new development by Walmart, and they got the development going up there that was approved. I guess they're starting to work on it, and they got maybe a work trailer or whatever, and there's a flagpole, and they got their company flag with the Canadian flag underneath it. Wrong. No. Canadian flag flies above any other flag. And if these bohemians down there don't understand that, these mamalukes knock on the door of the album and say, hey, listen, you got to change this. This isn't right. And whoever took that picture, I hope they went in and told them. Or if John saw it and he didn't go in, he should go and knock on the door and say, hey, come on. You don't put the Canadian flag under any other flag. You have no pride. So I don't know who these mooks are, but somebody better straighten them out. Anyway, on the weekend, Santa Claus Parade. Huge success in Niagara Falls. I saw pictures. I saw it. Big crowds waiting for Santa. I mean, there wasn't an eclipse million there, but from a story in the review, they said there were thousands, watching the marching bands, floats, performers, and old Saint Nick himself in a sleigh. I didn't see Mrs. Claus with him. And maybe he got separated over the summer. I don't know. Maybe she was on the other side of him. He's so big I couldn't see her. But I didn't see Mrs. Claus. The hour-and-a-half parade wound down Victoria Avenue and took that shortcut across Valley Way and then onto Queen Street and they ended up at City Hall where the festivities continued. And I even saw a picture of the Grimsby Pipe Band making an appearance, which I don't know if you like pipe bands, but I do. I like the bagpipes and that was pretty cool. And of course, the street is light up, is lit up at night. It's lit up at night now. They got off their wallets and they actually put the Christmas decorations that are sitting in a big bin down here at the end of Park Street. A couple of big containers. They look like hell. They're sitting there, but they're loaded with that kind of stuff, I guess. They got it out, put it up, and the Queen Street is lit up this year. In the city that's known for their Festival of Lights, probably the best Festival of Lights in Canada. And last year, Queen Street was dark. So this is wondrous that they did it this year. We love it. And if I'm not mistaken, speaking of the Festival of Lights, I think that started on Saturday as well. And they have like 71 displays down there and 10 million lights or something. It's something to see anyway. So if you get a chance, drive down the park and check it out. But it's always nicer when the first snowfall hits it. Things are, it's really nice when first snowfall hits. Now, what I did notice was all city council was wearing these really nice hockey style jerseys with a Heart Niagara Falls NF logo on the front and their names on the back. Pretty slick jerseys. I'm going to tell you, they're really nice. I don't know if they're going to be selling them. I know the Big Show usually likes to sell T-shirts about stuff. He sold them for Crush the Curve. I don't know how big a flop that was, but he had T-shirts and hats made up, I think, for that. And then he had them for the Meteor, not the Meteor, the Eclipse shirts. And I think his imagination eclipsed reality on that one. But he did make up T-shirts and that for anybody who wanted them. Salute. But these hockey jerseys were really nice. They had like a Christmas theme to them, and they had the red heart with NF underneath, and they were really nice. They look sharp, red and green, white with red and green. Pretty sharp, man. And I mean, they should sell them. Maybe some people want them. Maybe they get some made up. And what I also think, excuse me, is that not just the jersey. They should also make some nice T-shirts like that with the Heart Niagara NF. And for people who can't afford a jersey, I mean, those jerseys are probably going to be a little bit expensive. The hockey style jerseys, I know they're more expensive than say a T-shirt. So maybe some of those, and it would be very nice. Maybe some people want them. The jersey is nice. I wouldn't mind one of those myself, to be honest with you. But that's just me. You may think they suck. Who knows? I think they're really nice. And you know me, I complain about everything. That's what I've been told. I complain about everything. So if I'm saying they're nice, hey, I would say they have to be pretty nice for me to say that. And a nice story about the parade and a lot of photos of the crowd and everything else going on by Karina Walter, reporter for the Review. Great article in the Review about it. Check it out at the Niagara Falls Review web page. You gotta to get a subscription. It's not too expensive. I get it because I like to read the stories and what's going on. But I think anybody writes for that. And it looked like it was a success. So good on City Council for having it. I think they blew the BIA money on it, and good that they lit up Queen Street, and they had those nice jerseys they bought for everybody on council, and they were very nice. So we'll see if they throw them out there for the public. It'd be great to have one of these. So moseying down to St. David's, and for all of you who, anybody who tunes in from out of town, St. David's is about 5 or 6 miles down the road heading north, and it's on the way to Niagara on the Lake. It's considered Niagara on the Lake, but we call it St. David's. It's always been St. David's to us. But there's a 4-way stop there at York Road, and I think it's 4 Mile Creek Road. I think that's what it's called. And the 4-way stop worked back in the horse and wagon days, but right now it's a It's a busy intersection. Lots of traffic coming down York Road from St. Catharines and that area. Lots of people going down. There's a lot of building on 4 Mile Creek Road, and a lot more going to happen. So at the end of the day, it's getting pretty busy, way too busy for a four-way stop. So they're trying to build a roundabout there. I don't know. I thought they would just put lights, but they want a roundabout, which, okay, roundabouts are cool. They'll control traffic, slow it down, get you where you want to go, and they work. So it's scheduled to be built, and it's going to be one of many that the region is installing around the whole region, right? I mean, there's 100 of them now. Who knows? They're everywhere. But they don't want just a plain old roundabout St. David's. They want one that's a landmark and reflects the local community, which is a great idea. I like it. I mean, we got this one over here on Bridge Street that looks like hell. It's got 3 rusty iron things sticking up. I don't know what they're planning to put on there. It's probably something to do with advertising. That's what always happens when you get stuff like that. But nothing's up there. It looks like crap. And I think when Mayor Jim was in here, I talked about the meteor crater across the street. We got the flying saucer, and he says they're going to put some stuff on there to put a landing pad in for when the the aliens land. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, but not a bad idea. But anyway, St. David's, they're looking at the future, and they want it to be a landmark that reflects the local community. So, one counselor said they only get one kick at the can. Let's do it right. And I agree. They want the antique lamps, benches, plants that reflect the agricultural history of the area. And I don't know, benches. There's going to be people that walk and sit in the middle of a roundabout. Maybe they have it decorated nice. It's a nice place to sit. Watch the local traffic go by and hope you don't get hit by some wacko with a questionable license. But yeah, but anyway, they got a lot of visual arts objects, statues highlighting local children, whatever that means. And I don't get that one, but it should be something when they build it, something to see. And I think that roundabouts tend to be boring and that kind of thing. So to put something about the city in there, or something that has to do with the city, that would be pretty nice, really. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that. Too bad that wasn't a question on the questionnaire. I would have says put $25,000 into that before a concrete ping pong table, if you get my drift. But there are 2 petitions against a roundabout with a total of 1,400 signatures on them. So it's going to be an interesting battle for the estimated $4.5 million project down there. Regardless, something has to be done. It's a Wild West show, and it gets so busy. You're lined up. I went down there one time, and I go, oh, what a mistake this was. I went down about 3 in the afternoon, 3:30, and I was going down to get some apples from Olga there down on concession, whatever. And holy crap, there was a lineup of 30 cars. Backed up almost to the Orchard Glen place just to get to that intersection because it gets really goofy. It's getting more and more. So good to see that they're going to do it. Thanks to Kevin Werner and Agro this week for the article, and keep an eye out for that new roundabout down there. Chris Regis's restaurant is right there, the old Fire Hall restaurant. So he probably has an opinion on it for sure. Okay, what else happened this weekend? The Friday night fights. I don't know if anybody watched this, but it was well worth the price of admission. And I'm not talking about some 60-year-old geezer in there struggling to walk. He looked like Joe Biden walking around the ring. The main event was basically a WWE spectacle, but the preliminary bouts were really, really good. I know a local boy, Lucas Bad Eye, he won his match, I think, unanimous decision. It was earlier, it was dark, it wasn't shown on TV, but you could watch it on YouTube. And he's 18-0 now, this kid. He's really, really good. Local boy down there. But the couple of matches before, especially the women's match, was unfriggin' believable. This takes me back to the old days of boxing where there were actual boxers that could box. Holy man, these guys are good. These women were really good. They slugged it out to the last bell. And I don't think that everybody was happy with the decision. And If you had to see it to know why. But it was a tremendous, tremendous fight, tremendous match. Now the main event, Mamma Mia, it was like a WWE match, right? This Paul guy came out in a car to the ring, some lowrider jazzed up car or whatever, to the ring, convertible, of course, so you could sit on the back. And of course, Mike Tyson had nothing to do with that. He walked out in his Iron Mike, with the hood on it, warm up or whatever you want to call it. But there were 72,300 fans packed at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. And of course, there's no show that's worthy of being in that stadium unless the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders come out and do a little dance-a-rama. And they did. But this was a sanctioned boxing match, and I use the term boxing very loosely here. Between the problem child Jake Paul and geezer Iron Mike Tyson, well, he was more like rubber Mike Tyson these days. His legs were rubber. I mean, after the first round, he was really having trouble even getting walking back to the corner. Like that's what happens when you forget leg days. I mean, you got to do leg days, Mike. They hold you up in things like this. I mean, he was wearing a knee brace. I never seen a fighter go into a fight with a knee brace on. And it reminded me of, you remember that game, Frogger? You remember that game? The frog trying to make it across the freeway? That always barely made, you try to get it across the freeway and it gets hit by a car. And that was what Mike Tyson was doing, just trying to get through 8 rounds. And he was the bobbing and weaving and yeah, you root for the underdog. You got to root for the underdog. I like rooting for the underdog. I was hoping Mike Tyson wanted to load one punch on this kid and knock him down, but he really didn't throw a lot of punches. And I think Jake Paul really could have put him away anytime he wanted. I mean, geez, he threw him a couple punches, but he didn't want to hurt the old guy. I mean, like when you get the Frogger going across the highway dodging cars, well, Jake Paul would have been in like a '69 Chevelle SS with a big blower coming out of the hood, racing down the highway. And the badass rich kid in the muscle car, who knows he could wipe out the frog trying to cross the street, but he doesn't. He lets the Frogger cross the highway, safe and sound, out of respect and just being a nice guy. Tyson's fight wasn't against Jake Paul. It was against Father Time, to be honest with you. Could Mike Tyson beat Father Time? And the answer is no. You can't. That's the bottom line. And yeah, it was kind of a joke, but you know what? It was fun. It was fun. You watch the other matches that were great, then you watch this 8-round, 16-minute spectacle, and always hoping that Mike Tyson was going to be the guy, back in his 20s where he could knock a guy down with one punch, and he did a lot of times. A lot of times. So yeah, it was neat, but like really, when you think about it, it was pretty well a staged event. I don't think it was serious. It was more of a thing. How they sanctioned it. How could you sanction a 60-year-old guy against a 27-year-old guy? They did, but the other guys were great. I mean, like I said, Badai, our local boy, won a 10-round unanimous decision over Italy's Amando Casamonica. So good for him. And yeah, it was fun. It was a fun Friday night to watch this. You had to watch. It was like a train wreck, watching a train wreck. You got to look. You say, I should go to bed. It's 12 o'clock or whatever. I'm going to bed. But no, you got to watch this train wreck, right? Over to Sherman Parkway. Uh-oh, you know what that means. And Chris Regas and I always say that. We haven't heard anything from Regional Council. They must be plotting something. Well, they are. There. We were right. Regional councilors awarded a 13.2% increase to the Niagara Regional Police to their budget. And that's about $25 million for everybody. With the total budget ringing in at $213 million, up from last year's $188 million. Now, Now, Chief 40 was looking for a 15.1% increase. And at this point, when you're closing in at $250 million, I mean, what the hell's the difference? It doesn't matter. I mean, it's crazy. Council saved taxpayers a few mil for now by staggering the hiring of 33 frontline workers. But at the end of the day, they'll be all hired anyway. It doesn't matter. And this move will temporarily save taxpayers about $3.5 million. But the police are still going to fill the positions by year's end. Let's face it. Unfettered immigration. These policies are killing not only Ontario, but Canada. You can't allow an unlimited amount of immigrants to just send refugees to come into this country and just set up shop. It doesn't matter what country, any country. And it's going to have a devastating effect on society. And we're seeing it by our hospitals and clinics and schools. They're being inundated with these extra people. And we're seeing it across Ontario, and police forces are having to respond to it. And it comes from all these people that are coming in. I mean, the city is expanding, and the taxpayers have to pick up the tab. We're paying for the federal government's open border policies. Crime is way up. The homeless population has doubled or tripled, maybe in some places since the borders open. It's the cause and effect. And at some point, the public demands tougher courts. They have to start demanding things, tougher judges, and more police to help them keep safe. So the police is just responding to the needs. And it also means bigger budgets. So, I mean, this wasn't totally unexpected. They said they wanted 15.1, they got 13.18, 13.2 if you round it off. So we knew it was coming. And as we get more and more people moving into this area, then we're going to get more and more problems. We're going to get more and more people. We're going to get the city expanding so that it's a bigger area to cover for the police. And we're going to get more and more domestic calls and things like that. Sometimes the rules that they follow don't follow the rules that we follow in Canada. And you just get more calls. And of course, crime increases, so you get more calls for that. It never ends. So let's add it up so far. Keep adding this up as we go along. 13.18 for police. Water, wastewater, 12.27%. Transit, 5.88%. And we still have the region operations budget to go. And we're looking down the barrel of a 10% increase in that. And also, we have to remember the waste management. I forgot to put in that number. I can't remember what it is. It seems to me it's like 7 or 8% or something like that. I can't remember. Sorry about that. But I'll get that number too. We'll add them all up eventually. So that's just that. That's just the region that's going to be passed on, of course, to the city because the city has to pay their share of the region, based on population and that kind of thing. And then the city will bring up their budget, which we're going to see on November 26th, the capital budget, which you're looking for 4.9% or something. And then we're going to see the operations budget in January. And then we're going to see our final tally of what we're going to have to pay. It's not going to be pretty. We know it. We know it already. Now, the Niagara Falls regional reps that sit on regional council voted as follows on the police budget. Yes, from Bob Gale and Joyce Morocco, and no from Kim Crater. So Councillor Crater said no. Councillors Gale and Morocco said yes. They approved that 13.18%. So there you go. That's it. So, I mean, this all comes down to us eventually. We're seeing these numbers start coming out. And I think it's going to be an ugly increase for everybody this year on their taxes. And we haven't had the province ring in yet from market value assessment. Should have been done in 2020. It wasn't because of COVID. Last time was 2016. So when Colonel Ford brings that down, that's gonna be interesting. Now, on the provincial front, speaking of Colonel Ford, get ready for a spring election that Colonel Ford will say is necessary due to the election of Donald Trump. Everything's getting blamed on Trump. Why not our election? Ford says the economic uncertainty triggered by Trump and his landslide victory calls for an election with a simple pitch to voters: stability, competence, and someone experienced in dealing with Trump to protect jobs in Ontario. And Colonel Ford is just the guy to do it. He's dealt with Trump before. Now, he already has a majority government. He says that because of a radical change in the political landscape with Trump's election, he needs a new mandate to deal with it. Okay, sure, why not? Of course, the loony left is saying that he's just scrambling to get ahead of charges that could be laid as a result of the RCMP's ongoing criminal investigation of the $8.2 billion Greenbelt land swap scandal. So he's looking for a mandate before that comes down. So he wants to get an election before that comes down. I mean, they've been investigating for 13 months. I mean, how long does it take to investigate this? I don't know. But he figures he can squeeze it in before they finish it. So he can squeeze one in March, maybe. Who knows? Then they say he wants to face voters before that investigation ends. Okay. That's fine. That's what you think. Why not? What the hell? On the Ford side, he says he's going to work with President Trump as he did at the beginning of his administration to protect Ontario's trading interests with the U.S. Ontario only stands behind Canada and Mexico as the biggest trade partner with the U.S. in North America. So the two countries are first and second. Ontario's third, believe it or not. In 2019, when the U.S. slapped tariffs on Canadian steel, Ford marched to Washington to help with the federal Liberal government make their pitch for Canada's case against that. And he says he was asked to go because Ontario is the engine of Canada, which it is. He's right about that. So Ford's take, and I think this is the right one, was that if they're going to tariff Canada, tariffs everything coming in from the U.S. right back at them. It worked, and the tariffs were pulled back quickly after the feds did exactly that. What he's now saying is that the feds need a bilateral trade agreement with the U.S. You know, that's what they have to do. Like just Canada and United States. Forget about Mexico. And of course, that point was shot down by Castro, our prime minister. Likely, Colonel Ford's going to travel to Washington to meet with Trump. And Trump and his administration, which is a good thing for Ontario. I can't see any of these other bozos beating Ford in an election. Yeah, he's got his faults. But in a time where we need stability, do we really trust Bonnie Crombie, Merritt Stiles, Mike Schreiner to deal with Trump? I mean, they're left-wing socialists. They're going to deal with Trump? I don't think so. I think I can see Ford dealing with him. He's just that kind of guy. I can't see these other three. He has the attitude. He's got the toughness. He's got the personality to work with Trump, without a doubt. And I think Trump and him get along. Just stay tuned once Trump's inaugurated on January 20th for more news about this early election and what's going to happen. And we might see a federal election a little bit earlier as well. So we're seeing right now, because right now they're running a filibuster, and if they run it too long, the government's going to be handcuffed and they're going to actually bring down the government. Can't last forever. It's been going on for like a month or something. So that can't last forever. And when it does, and they get back to it, they're going to shoot them down. So we might have an early election federally too, as well. So there you go. That's the news. That's the news so far. Now let's get to my second sponsor, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. So if you want a good pizza, Victoria Avenue's Pete's Pizza is the place to go. Let's face it. Come on, these guys know what they're doing. Mike worked in an Italian restaurant for 15 years. He's got the Mancini family recipe for the sauce and the crust. He's got cornmeal on it, He does it right, and he knows how to blend that cheese, all that Saputo mozzarella with the brick cheese, and on the pizza in the right ratio with the sauce. You can't beat it. He cooks it just perfect, fresh ingredients. Hey, you got to try this. It's fantastic. But if you don't want a pizza, they have a full menu. Steak and cheese poutine. They got panzerotti. They've got wings. The wings are really good too. I had the wings. I'm funny about my wings, so I was a little bit reluctant to try them, but I did try them, and guess what? They're fantastic. I really like them. So they have a special on Thursdays. I think $9.94 a pound or something like that. So not too bad, not too bad. And there's about 10 in a pound. They're not the extra real giant sized ones, but they're not the picture little pigeon wings. Kind of like nice in between, nicely done, and like buffalo style. I like them hot. Yeah, they're really good. Also, because it is the 40th anniversary of the Mancini family opening of Pete's Pizza in St. Catharines, they're offering 2 medium pizzas with 3 toppings on each for $25 plus tax. How are you going to beat that? Unbelievable. Need a pizza? Check out Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. They have combos, they have specials. Yeah, really good. You're going to like them. And I'm a pizza snob. Now, Mike also has extended the hours. I think he's open till midnight on Sunday to Thursday, and then he goes till 2 in the morning on Friday and Saturday. So, if you're coming home from the local watering hole and you feel like having something to eat, what about a nice pizza? Why not? They're open till 2 in the morning. Yeah, 905-374-2222 or Pete'sPizzaVictoria.ca, and you can order right online. Simple. Support our sponsors. We thank you, and tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Now let's take a short trip down south. I'm not going to talk too much about anything down there, the election and that, because we know what happened. Trump landslided them, and that was the bottom line. Got the House, got the Senate, got the White House, and got the popular vote. It doesn't get much more of a mandate than that. So he's on a tear right now. And he's he's got over the weekend he just kept appointing people to his cabinet. He's up over 20 now. He's got a lot of them appointed. He's just waiting for some economic people to be appointed and in other key positions. But the Bidens back in hot water, and it isn't pretty. The Biden impeachment hearings are going on right now. The evidence is overwhelming. They are guilty of treason and perjury. Even though the evidence only points to one thing, at the time comes closer to Trump to take over, charges are more likely to settle their quid pro quo case. So, pay for play, that kind of thing. And this is going to be pretty for Joe Hunter, Jim, and anyone else involved. So we'll see what happens as we get closer to January 20th when Trump takes office. At noon, he puts his hand on the Bible, and he's the president. Until then, he's just getting everything together and watching his back, because these people are not they're not nice people. These left wing loonies, they're not nice people. So while we're in the United States, over to Buffalo. Yeah, over to Buffalo. Big game this weekend. Apparently, Taylor Not So Swift didn't like the Bills Mafia. She said her last trip to Buffalo to watch her boyfriend play gave her full exposure to the Bills Mafia, and she didn't like what she saw. Well, isn't that too bad? So much she skipped yesterday's game and stayed in Hogtown, where she's playing a bunch of concerts. Bills fans were unanimous in her staying in Toronto, saying, "We don't need her type of attention here. We focus on the game, not what Swiftless is doing." Now, they invited his brother Jason. He's invited. Taylor Swift can stay away, but her brother can come here. He had fun. He was out in the parking lot drinking beer. It's all about football, not star adulation. I guess Jason Kelsey is Travis's brother, and he was out in the parking lot drinking beer and having fun tailgating with the Bills Mafia before the last game in Buffalo. Bills lost that one 27-24, I believe. But you got to love the Bills Mafia. No punches pulled. Getting down to business. They kicked Kansas's ass yesterday with a 30-21 victory, I believe. I don't follow football. I'm just reading this. Taylor, not so swift, would have been crying in her kombucha. Yeah. So there you go. There you go. She didn't show up. Couldn't take the Bills Mafia. Too reckless for her, too violent. So just when you thought it was safe out there, the police say there's an increase in the number of people reporting their drinks have been spiked at local bars. We back to this again? I thought that went out with disco in the 90s or whatever. So the number of people reporting their drinks have been spiked at local bars has gone up. So they're telling everybody never to leave their drink unattended. Watch your drink being made by the bartenders. Bartenders are spiking their drinks, slipping them a Mickey Finn. Oh boy. Don't accept drinks from strangers or people you don't know. And watch out for your friends. In other words, not watch out for them. They're not going to spike your drink, I don't think, but watch out for their drinks and alert them to watch for anything suspicious. You know, when you're in a bar, right? And you're hanging around, you're having a good time, it's pretty easy for somebody to slip you a Mickey Finn because, you know, you're not really paying attention. You're having a good time talking to everybody. Your senses are dulled by the booze and the shots and everything else. And you're really not in a be aware mood. You're more in a party it up mood, right? So you don't pay attention as well as you should have. Really, a lot of people just run to the bathroom, leave their drinks on the bar or on the table. You know, so you have to be a lot, careful. I mean, we never worried about that when we were kids. Nobody's spiking our drinks. I don't know why. It's weird. The coppers say if you think your drink is spiked or anyone with you shows signs of having their drink spiked or tampered with, seek medical attention immediately and report it to the cops. Common sense and being aware prevents a lot of these situations, especially this time of year when more people are out and about celebrating the season. And of course, my words to everybody when I see an accident, don't drink and drive. And then everybody yells at me saying, how do you know they're drinking? You're just blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, hey, I'm just giving good advice. Don't drink and drive. I don't know if the accident was caused by that. It's just solid advice that I give people. And a major change in the policy of the Ukraine and Russia war over the weekend. And it's crazy there. But apparently, Joe Biden has given them the okay to use long-range missiles. And this is the first time he's okayed this. Now, of course, the response was to the North Koreans sending troops in, and the Russian people using them, the Russian troops. And so once Joe Biden gives them the green light, then, of course, the Allies have the green light to do the same, give them the longer-range missiles. Now, the Pentagon officials are opposed to it for a couple of reasons. Number one, the U.S. Army has a limited supply, and the fear that Putin would widen the war if they did what they had to the Ukraine. So if they gave them these missiles, if they did that, then it would threaten Putin even more. And other officials said that Biden is too easily intimidated by Putin's hostile rhetoric, and this reluctance has disadvantaged Ukrainians on the battlefield in the fact he wouldn't give them these long-range missiles. Now he's given it to them. And on Sunday, Russia launched a major drone and missile attack on the Ukraine, targeting infrastructure with civilian casualties resulting from the massive attack. Fears were coming out of the Ukraine that Russia was targeting the country's power grid ahead of winter. Not good for the people of the Ukraine. So there's a lot going on over there, and this is really an escalation in it, giving them long-range weapons, long-range missiles, and Putin is considering it an act of war. So that doesn't bode good. I don't think they should be doing that. It's the crazy season, man, and I mean, we've only got a couple months to when Trump takes over, and now he's going to escalate this thing. And Trump's trying to stop it. I think he can. But if this thing escalates to some other point with Biden still at the helm, he's still making the decisions. That's not good. That's not good at all. So let's hope this doesn't escalate before January 20th, and Trump can get in there and have a talk with these guys. But I can imagine how it's going to go down. It's pretty simple, really. He's going to go to Zelensky and say, "Listen." Well, he's not even going to go to Zelensky first. Zelensky doesn't matter. He's an actor playing a role, and he's irrelevant to the whole thing. He's going to go to Putin and say, "Look, Vlad, what do you need? What do you need to stop this thing? We want this strip of land." Okay, you got it. You got that. If we give you that, are you going to, is this over? Yes, it is. Okay, good. He's going to go to Zelensky and says, "Here, listen, Zelensky, this is what you're going to do. You're going to give up that strip of land to Russia. I'll speak Russian, the Russian anyway. They're going to be happy. They're going to get out with saving face. And then you are going to save yourself from being hung from the rafters and skinned like Mussolini. You ever hear of Mussolini? That's what's going to happen to you if we back out and give you nothing and let the Russians just walk in, and they're going to get a hold of you. It's not going to be very pretty. So what do you want to do? You tell us what you want to do, and that'll probably be about the end of it. Then they'll figure it all out from there. Zelensky wants to keep power. He wants to have his $1 billion. He's loaded with money now. And Putin wants to take a piece of land to save face. Everybody's happy, and it's over. And then he goes down to the Middle East and deals with that. That should be it. That's how I see it going down. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You don't agree with me? Tell me you don't agree with me. You think it's a lot more complicated than that, and I've made it uncomplicated because I don't think it's going to be that complicated, other than some negotiation, which Trump is the master of. He should be able to get it done. But I think those are basically the basics of how it's going to go down, and you will see. We'll see. I mean, history will prove me right or wrong, and who knows? We may be in a major war before that even happens. Now, I want to get back to Niagara Falls for a minute here, because I saw something that really disturbed me. Not that disturbed me, it just kind of made me shake my head. I didn't agree with it. And it was a post on Facebook that students from St. Paul High School are selling wine to raise money for the school or whatever. I said, I don't know. Is that a good idea? You got kids in high school. What do you get in high school? I was in high school and I was like 14, 13, 14. I think 13. I turned 14 that year, and I was there for 5 years. So I was 18 when I got out, turning 19. So I'm there 13, and I'm out peddling wine to raise money. I don't know. Does that sound right to you? Kids out there peddling booze? And I know a lot of people were commenting that, they're raising money, no big deal. Everybody drinks wine and that. I don't know. Something about it just doesn't strike me as right. Like, is weed's legal? Would you be happy if they were out there selling dime bags of weed, right? Or selling half a lid of weed or something like that? There's things that you don't really want kids to be doing. I mean, they're underage, number one. I mean, they're not even legal to drink, so I'm not worried about them drinking it. But even to sell it, to people who are of age, is that really how you want them to raise money? What happened to cookie dough and cookies and stuff? Well, it's turning into like booze. The next step will be bags of weed. Then it'll be gummies. Yeah, you get a bag of gummies for 30 or 40 or 50, whatever the hell they are. I don't know. I don't do it, so I don't know. And I don't know what they're worth, but whatever. I mean, you sell them and have gummies, sell gummies and cookies and brownies. I don't know. I just think this is like a bit overboard. I don't think they should be selling tickets to attend the Sundowner shows on Friday night. I don't think they should be doing booze or weed or anything that's kind of cigarettes. Oh yeah, let's go to grab a truckload from the reservation and sell them and make money for the school. I mean, I know it's ridiculous, but I think selling wine is a little bit overboard. We should stick to cookie dough and that. I had a good conversation with another buddy of mine, Christian Bell, about it, and he said I'd like to see prohibition on everything, and no, I wouldn't. I would. He said, you got to remember, like this is me being a hypocrite, to be honest with you, because when I was 16, I was over the river drinking. Right over the bridge down here at the end of the street. We were over the states drinking. Their age was 18. We, at 16, 17 years old, you couldn't pass for 21 in Canada, but you could pass for 18, and they didn't bother you over there anyway. We go over there, we were drinking at 16. And I'm sure a lot of the kids right around here are drinking at 16 anyway. It's not like you're going to corrupt them or anything. Like, our parents never knew what we were doing, of course, and we were at home, and you said, "Yeah, give me a beer," at 16 years old to your father, he'd look at you like, "Are you stupid or what?" Right? I mean, he's not going to give you one. He might let you have a sip, a swig out of the stubby bottle or something, right? But he wouldn't give you a beer. I mean, that'd be irresponsible. It'd be illegal. I mean, giving the minor alcohol. But we did it anyway. I mean, it didn't matter. But still, I mean, I think the example is is not to do it. I think that would be the good example. Don't encourage it. Don't abet it by having it at high schools and the kids out peddling it to people and knocking on doors. Hey, yeah, we're selling wine. You want to buy some wine? Like, what the hell? I don't know. It just seems weird to me. If a kid came to my door doing that, I'd look at him and say, "Are you kidding me? You're selling wine to raise money for your school? What happened to chocolate bars?" I wouldn't order because I don't like wine anyway. But, like I could see, like some of Liz's nieces, if they were still in school, they're not anymore, and they were selling wine, she'd probably be in for a couple bottles. I don't know. Is that the right thing? Anyway, leave comments on the video and tell me what you think. A lot of people think it's okay. Yeah, go ahead, do it. I mean, what the hell? What's the difference, right? People drink wine with their meal. A glass of wine a day is good for you. Yeah, but there's this drinking and driving thing, and just getting, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. I'm surprised Mothers Against Drunk Driving aren't out yelling, screaming about this one. They're talking about driving drunk and these kids drinking and driving and smoking weed and driving and everything, and then they're going to let them sell booze to raise money. Boy, oh boy, that's a tough one for me. That's a tough one for me, and I'm not a prude by any means. Like I say, I'm a hypocrite about it, really, if you think about it, because we were over the river drinking like crazy when we were 16 years old. But still, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. Um, we didn't sell it when we were in school, that's for sure. Nobody, if we were over the river, we sure didn't tell our parents, because we'd be in big trouble if they knew we were walking over that bridge on Friday nights over to the bars and hanging around. Anyway, what do you think? What do you think? Should they be allowed to do this, or should this be like the last time they finish it now because they're already into it, and then the school says, and this is St. Paul, the Catholic District School Board, I guess. What do you think of this? Am I wrong? Am I being too much of a prude? Is this the modern era? And, what the hell? Or, is this something maybe we shouldn't be doing? They have the law. They have the drinking age for a reason, I guess. I don't know. And I think don't you need Smart Serve to sell booze too? I don't know. This is weird. Tell me what you think in the video. And before we end the show, we have to go over to London, Ontario. And I have to start guessing that crickets are not what people in Ontario, Canadians, want to eat. Because the cricket plant they built there, this giant facility to grow and process crickets, yeah, they're laying off 2/3 of their workforce. I guess it's something Canadians don't want to eat with their Sunday night dinner. The London cricket plant, owned by Aspire Food Group, cut 2/3 of its workforce amid cash flow problems. About 50 workers remain at the plant in London that opened in 2022. Of course, the federal government was ripped off again to the tune of $8.5 million for this wacky idea. Thanks, taxpayers. Thanks, you gave $8.5 million for this idea that people would want to eat crickets. Well, they're finding out people don't want to eat crickets. Maybe not. Maybe offshore people do. I don't know. Maybe they eat crickets, but none of the people I know want to eat crickets. Ask an Italian if they want to sprinkle cricket dust on their pasta and see what they say. Give me Parmesan Romano. They claim they're retooling for the future. And exactly how do you retool a cricket plant? Offer grasshoppers as well? They bring in grasshoppers, maybe. I don't know. How do you? Maybe they need new tools for the razor sharp back legs on the grasshoppers. You know, they're sharp. They get you when you grab a grasshopper. They split that back tobacco we used to call you as they spit on you. One worker at the plant says production is slowed and workers terminated. Well, sorry, nobody wants to eat crickets, I guess. David Rosenberg said they need to improve yields. That's he works for the plant there. I don't know who he is, but some big guy there, big shot. And they did not have the cost structure to improve production. So they had to lay off workers. They couldn't keep them on site if they're not producing enough. The mechanical systems were challenged because they were overloaded in harvesting crickets. So they had too many crickets they had to harvest, and they couldn't process them. They have crickets everywhere, he said. I can't believe I'm even talking about this. Is this some kind of joke? Is this for real? I gotta call up somebody in London and find out if they really have a cricket plant there. I mean, I know they want to spend a lot of money on a cricket field in Niagara Falls, taxpayer dollars, but I don't think it's that kind of crickets. Well, this is all double talk. I mean, they're all double talking. I mean, the bottom line is this is just my humble opinion, of course, always my opinion on stuff. Canadians don't want to eat crickets and other creepy crawlies. Keep your grasshoppers, keep your beetles, your worms, your larvae. I'm totally out on this. I don't want to eat crickets. I'm going to tell you, I don't care what kind of protein it is or anything else. I do not want to eat crickets. Now, offshore people may get enjoyment out of a cricket dinner, but I can't do it. I mean, you just add 2 plus 2 here. When sales are low, nobody wants crickets. They lay people off. They call it a mechanical retool. In the Canadian market, I just don't think it's ready for this. Maybe in a generation. Yeah, maybe in a generation it might be. Now, the company said they landed $1 million deal in 2022 to sell crickets to Lot Confectionery Corporation in South Korea. Okay, there's a place they would eat crickets. They eat dogs, they eat rats, they eat everything. They make a cricket powder to put on a variety of foods. So cricket powder on chicken chow meow, it's good. No problem. But not just the cricket itself is valuable. Get this one. They actually harvest the cricket poop. It's called frass. And it's a nutrient for soil. So I don't know how you harvest cricket poop. Do you squeeze it until it comes out and then scrape it off with a little? I don't know. How do you harvest cricket poop? I mean, how big is a cricket poop? Can you even see it? How much do you have to harvest to get anything out of it? I don't know. And who has that job? Yep, you hired. You're going to be harvesting cricket poop. I don't know what cricket poop is. Well, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. Come on over here. See the. This is the head of the cricket, and the southbound end is where you got to watch because that's. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me? Maybe this could have been like with a concrete ping pong table, harvesting cricket poop, make money for the city. Oh my God. Now, Sylvain Charlebois, a food industry analyst, says patience is needed from Canadians for this alternative protein market. It's a hard sell right now. I agree. I agree. It is a hard sell. I think the taxpayers should have saved the 8.5 billion. Tell them, listen, you want to build a cricket plant to harvest crickets and cricket frass? Go ahead. You got our blessing, but we're not giving you a dime for it. Every time the government gives money away, something happens. EV craze. They gave them 8, 10, $12 billion or whatever. And what? Nobody wants EVs anymore. Now they might mothball these plants for a few years. And the 8.5 billion for crickets. We get stiffed on that one again. I think it's billion. I don't think it was million. Maybe it was million. That would make me feel better. 8.5 billion seems a lot for cricket poop. But I know one thing. I got to start reading the labels on everything I eat because I think they're sliding this cricket crap into our cereal and everything else. And I think everybody should start reading labels because if they can't sell it openly, like here, buy some crickets and have them for supper, then they're going to start crushing them up and powdering them like they do in Korea and sliding them into stuff. And if you look on the package, I guarantee it won't say ground crickets. It's going to give us some kind of a name, ground, some kind of Latin name or something. They're going to give it another name. Excuse me, so you don't know. Anyway, watch out for crickets. They used to say, watch out where the crickets go and don't you eat that yellow snow. Yeah. And if I have to look more into cricket poop. I can't imagine how they harvest that, but apparently they do. Soil nutrients, cricket poop. Anyway, that's it for that. I'm done. I got to go home and look at the budget so I can give you more information on the city budget here. It's out, NiagaraFalls.ca, Mayor's Budget. Go look at it yourself. I'm going to be starting to take a closer look so I can report back by the 25th of November exactly what I see in there and what I think they're going to talk about in the meeting on the 26th, the open meeting of City Council about the capital budget. Anyway, thank you for tuning in on the radio, 4680q.com, on the video, on YouTube, Your City, Your Voice, Paul K. Lemire, whatever you want to type in there. We'll see the video. I put it up by 3 o'clock, 3:30 this afternoon. It'll be up, and we'll be good to go. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow at noon, of course, with Trash Talkin' Tuesday. I'm not changing the name. It's Trash Talkin' Tuesday. I changed this to Mota Monday because it's show number 420. Have a good day, everybody. Appreciate you listening in. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice. Support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. And if somebody offers you cricket poop, just say no. See you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.